most important thing for your self-improvement as a man, or if you're a boy, is goal setting. Setting goals is to establish what exactly you're going to do with yourself for the next week, month, year, and decades later in your life. Now, this is a practical video. The title isn't lying. This is a practical video. So either get a pen or paper or download on your phone, especially on your phone, because I'll explain later why the phone is important, but you want to download Notion. It's completely free, no subscriptions, nothing. It's just go ahead and you can make tables there. That's the point. So download Notion or get a pen and paper. Okay, once you have that down, if you have a paper, for example, all I want you to do is just write down your dream goals, like the most extraordinary things that come to mind, like, oh, I want to become fluent in Chinese, or I want to build that 10 out of 10 perfect physique, or I want to achieve financial freedom. All that stuff you just want to write down beside that. And the same, if you're on Notion, you figure out, if you can figure it out yourself, or you can go on YouTube and figure out how to make a graph. I'll show some pictures of my own graphs of my own dream goals. But essentially you want to have a column called dream goals, and you're going to put your dream goals there. Next to that, whether you're on pen and paper or Notion, you want to write down the deadline where you expect to meet those goals, whether that's from 10 years from now, a year from now, it could be even next week, depending on how small that goal is. But generally, since these are dream goals, you want to make them minimum a year long. Like the minimum is maybe a year later you're going to expect to achieve these. Alright, so the next column that you're going to do is called weekly performance goals or weekly habit goals. This is what you're going to do. It kind of makes sense, but this is what you're going to do per week to ensure that that dream goal can be ultimately achieved when the deadline comes along. So for example, for my physique one, I have on my weekly ones 6 workouts per week, and meeting my protein requirements. Those are what's there. And what you can do, which I've done on Notion, you can also do on pen and paper, but it can be hard because you have to do a lot of rubbing out on pen and paper. But what you want to do is in brackets put like 0/7 or 0/6 in this sense, because you're exercising, and essentially fill them in as you do them. So it kind of forces you to keep going on your tracker, which is kind of nice. Okay, so beside that, this is optional. If you're on pen and paper, you don't really need to do this, but if you're on Notion and you really want to go that extra step in giving yourself motivation, you can add a tab where you can select if you're halfway there, quarter ways there, or if you're completely done for the week. Nice little refresher to be able to see, oh, I've done it for this week, and it's quite nice as well. So yeah, that's essentially what you're going to do. And the next step, once you have done this, is to make this your screensaver. So you make this your screensaver on your laptop, and what you can do is you can make this your lock or your home screen on your phone. So every time you open your phone, it's right there. Because as men, so if you think of the spectrum of masculine and feminine energy, the top of the spectrum, you have the masculine energy, which is essentially very, very goal driven, very ambitious. That's where you want to be at. And if you're constantly opening your phone and seeing that, then it's going to be very easy for you to obsess like a psychopath over your dreams and goals, which is technically what we want. If we start getting into the flow of love, which is essentially the feminine side, so the flow of love, it can be like that casual thought of like dating somebody or hugging somebody, right? Not that these things are bad, but essentially, if you're a guy, you want to make sure that you're on the highest end of the masculine energy, so that you can attract that very feminine woman at the end of the spectrum, and then that polarization works. So that's why if you have it as your screensaver in your laptop, or if you have it as that default opener, so if you open Chrome, that's like the first tab that opens, which I believe you can do. I haven't tried that out yet. I should, because I don't really use my laptop a lot. I use my phone a lot, so that's what I'm gonna do when I get back to where my laptop is, because as you can tell, I'm kind of going around a lot of places. I was just on a boat yesterday for the last 3 days, and I have a video where I recorded myself in one, which was quite nice. But anyway, back to the video. To be able to obsess like a psychopath over these, you can stick these on your wall. What I used to do is, having my habit trackers and my goals, I would just post on my wall. So every time I woke up, it was right there. And these posters, you can also add a practical element by putting checkboxes at which you have to tick as you go along the day, which also kind of forces you to achieve those goals better. The amount of productivity you will experience after just implementing this trick into your life. It's not really a trick, but it's like, you know what I mean. You're going to see the progress just naturally come up. Remember when I talked about the graph, as you're going down because you've been slipping, you're going to slowly come up because you're going to become more and more obsessed in your mind. And if it's stayed in your subconscious mind, because there's two parts of your mind, there's the neocortex, so the new brain, which is like the new lizard brain, which is being conditioned by society, social media, and everything. It's like the flow of love and everything that goes happening. That's like the newest part of your brain. And then you have the oldest part of your brain, which is essentially your feelings and your true motives behind the subconscious mind. So if you can get that masculine energy, so those goals that you've just written down on Notion or your paper, right into your subconscious mind, then naturally all this stuff is easier. You find that you're going to do the hard stuff because they're not even hard. And you're only going to experience a few days when you really don't feel like it, because you're a human in the end. But because you're doing that hard work, even when you don't feel like it, you're also building discipline, which is also quite nice as well. If you are new to self-improvement, or if you're quite experienced and you've enjoyed my content so far, why don't you do both of us a favor and click that subscribe button. And if you want to, I'm against the notifications because I don't want you to be on your phone, so don't click that, leave that off. But also like the video if you want, that's additional. Let me down in the comments below what you think and how you've experienced this so far, just to let other people know as well. And peace.